A two-part question. They're both related. Have you made your decision about Orlando? And what was your reaction to Davis Bertans' decision?
I answered DB's. One, I didn't feel any type of way about Bertans' decision. He actually contacted me before he officially announced it, and I actually and I don't want to say forced him to not play, but I supported him in every way, and that he explained it, and just seeing where he come from, seeing the situation, and understanding what's at stake for him in his future. 100%, I understand it. On top of that, he has a family, he has a wife, and a daughter he has to look after, and they're back home in Latvia. So he's is it Latvia or Lithuania? Latvia, right? I'm sure. No, I ain't tripping. So his family's back home, and I have nothing but respect for his decision. I have yet to make mine. I'm still working my tail off every single day, as if I am playing. Definitely, it's more or less going to be a decision that comes down to the medical staff and I, just because of our precautions and just coming back from being 0 to 100. Then I had some nagging stuff at the end of the year we're trying to clean up too. So we're looking at it from all angles, but I'm definitely working out every single day in here. It's good to be back in the facility, but I'm not swayed one way or another.
Fred?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Fred.
I'm just curious if you do play in Orlando. I know you've been really outspoken about Black Lives Matter and George Floyd and everything. Mm-hmm. I know you've taken a leadership role in being a voice for the team and the organization in that sense. Do you guys have anything organized, and more specifically towards you? Do you plan on putting anything on the back of your jersey, and what's that thought process like for you?
I haven't thought about it that far. I think the PA, they just announced that. I've more or less been trying to figure out stuff to do in the day-to-day in D.C. and back in my hometown in St. Louis. Granted, we have a huge platform with the NBA, and we're going to rely on them to, kind of help us move forward. I think that the court idea and the jerseys and, and the commercials and everything that we'll have to put on display down in Orlando will be great, but there's still action that, that can be done here while we're still here, and even while we're away, too. So I think for me, it's bigger than just, sending, making statements and, messages down in Orlando. It's about putting things into action, laying down some foundational groundwork to get the needle moving.
And just a quick follow-up, what is weighing, you said you haven't made a decision either way. What is weighing the decision? I know you mentioned the medical stuff. Is it Black Lives Matter as well, or is it just the medical stuff?
I'm not going to make it my decision on the social side of it. I would say my decision on that would be if the whole league and a lot of guys as a union decide that this is what we want to focus on. I support that, because I look at it from, I'm kind of neutral in this situation, because I get it from the standpoint of a guy who doesn't make a lot of money, who may need this. I get it from the guys who want to utilize this money to give back to their communities. I look at it from the standpoint of guys who just want to focus on straight social justice. So I get it from every standpoint. I'm literally right in the middle, and I'm not swayed one way or another. Money wise, I'm fine. I'm one of the guys who it'll affect me, but I won't be too affected. So I get it from the standpoint of those who who need to go down and play, to be able to support themselves and their family. So I'm just kind of in the middle, honestly.
DA?
Brad, when you were at the march with Natasha, she has subsequently decided not to play this year. Have you talked to her at all about how she came to that decision?
A little bit, because we kind of created a little panel within our organizations for social justice cause, and I don't know, it's calls in the Zoom calls that we create, just hearing her passion and her energy, it didn't surprise me with her decision. Yeah. Because this is something that she's very headstrong about. She's very headstrong about reform in this world and creating change, especially gun violence at that. She's very, very adamant and strong on those topics, So it didn't surprise me, for one. I think it ultimately just came down to her focus being mainly on social justice and creating change versus hooping. And I fully understand that. And there's several other players on our team who have the same feeling, who aren't playing, who aren't going, some for health reasons and some for social justice reasons, So it's a tough time we're in. You can't be too judgmental on people's decision making in this time, because you gotta understand and kind of have a sensitive heart to what's going on in the world.
Chris Miller.
Scott, thank you. Brad, happy belated birthday, old man.
Thank you, sir.
I have two questions, and I want to let you answer the first one before the second one. The first question is, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you penned the actual statement that came out that was deemed by many to be the most powerful statement by an organization dealing with what's happening in our community. Can you explain to me kind of your thought process in writing that, and where did your mind take you as you were writing it?
Oh, man, I don't know, because I was really looking at it from the standpoint of, how can we say something, make a message, but also be firm about it, and kind of, be very aggressive, but not sugarcoat anything, but not be too ugly and be disrespectful with it, And for me, it was just speaking from the heart, I just honestly felt like that's what needed to be said. It was crazy because the first statement we came up with as a team, I came up with was Sashia, and, we knocked it out and shot it over to my teammates. We all agreed upon it and posted it. And a couple weeks later, I was like, man, the Mystics didn't say anything, and I was like, that bothered them, that bothered us. And we said, let's come together and write a statement. And some time rolled over, and I was like, F, and I'll just write one, and I just wrote it. I wrote the whole thing, and my mindset was, get a point across. Don't be, if you receive backlash, you receive it. But this is what needs to be said. It's time to stop avoiding, the harsh realities that's going on. Stop sugarcoating what's going on, and be blatantly honest about change that needs to happen.
My other question is about basketball. It's a nuanced question I have for you. Can you actually develop young players while also trying to go after a playoff spot? And the reason why I'm asking you that is you can literally have the most impact on that question being answered. Do you subscribe to the notion that you could actually do both in Orlando?
In terms of get better and make a playoff push?
Yes.
I think you can, but I would say it won't be easy. And the reason I say it won't be easy is because of the way it's kind of set up. Like we don't have that everyday, all day access like we do in a facility or on the road. And even now, there's no 5-on-5, there's no 5-on-0, there's no really continuity that we're developing until we get to Orlando. So I think from that standpoint, that'll be where kind of, can we get better, in this short amount of time? I think that'll probably be the biggest question. I think from what I see on a day-to-day from, the time slots we have, and guys are in here. Guys are working in the gym, in the weight room. We're being social distance, but we're getting work in, and it's good work. So I think from that standpoint, we're looking at it it's a great opportunity in front of us. These guys are excited. We're happy that, we have a chance to be able to play for something still. We didn't want to be a team that was sitting at home for the next 6 months. Like that'd be a little bit miserable. But it's definitely, it's enlightening to see. I think it's possible, but I will say it'll be a challenge because of the way everything is kind of set up. Like it is, and that's kind of where my decision making and coming back is kind of playing a toll too, because we can't play 5-on-5 until we get to Orlando, and that's okay. So now you're saying we only have 2 weeks to really fully get in basketball shape, and until we have to be balls out, to make a playoff push. So it's a little tough. Everybody, I feel like I'm not the only one that thinks like this. There's going to be a lot of guys who probably think like this. And I think our staff in general has this same regard for the whole team, from starting from zero, gradually trying to ramp things up, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're right back into, playoff type atmosphere basketball. And that's gonna be a little tough. It's gonna be a little tough.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Steve?
Brad, thanks for doing this. Following up on the last question, just what did you guys do? What's the first day of workouts like, and how does a day like this prepare you guys ultimately for getting back to playing?
Oh, it's tough, man, because it's from walking in the building to leaving the building. It's totally different than how we would coming back in October and November. Because of one, it's COVID and quarantine and being safe and making sure all that's good. And then on top of that, there's on the workout side, it's all individuals. There is no contact. There is no 2-on-2, no 3-on-3, no 5-on-5. There's none of that. So it's more or less just getting individual work in, almost like the summer. So it's tough. You can see the gauges and getting better, but I'll always say, like, you're never in shape until you're actually playing the game of basketball. So all of us, and even guys on other teams, I don't think anybody's going to really come in full tip-top shape because nobody was able to play 5-on-5. Nobody's able to hit set screens, get hit, fall on the ground, get up, play defense for 24 seconds, offensive rebound, play defense again. Like, these type of things get guys tired, and we haven't had that type of atmosphere in an individual workout. But there is stuff that we can constantly get better. You can work on your individual game. And then once we're able to put it all together, hopefully you can see the growth in everybody.
Matt?
Hey, Brad. Thanks for doing this. Just curious, what do you make of the bubble kind of format, and does that help or hurt your decision?
With the nation's top
weighing?
U.S. could.
Sorry.
The format in terms of the amount of teams, or the like being in the bubble medically, or
bubble, just like in terms of not being able to see your family for at least a month, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. Like, it is almost like what kind of situation could we create? Like in a perfect world. We want to be safe, but we want to come back and hope. We want to make money, and we want to make a statement. It's so much that we're trying to grab, with just basketball, and it's tough because our families can't come until after the first round of the playoffs. So you're gone from them for a long time. So it's tough, man. Like, we signed up to hoop. We signed up to be away from our families. I don't think for that long, potentially, but it's I mean, that's just what comes with. That's what comes with it. I'm not somebody who's going to be, adamant against what our decision was. This is what the NBA and the league and the PA felt like was the best way for us to come back and hoop. And then I'm all for it. As long as everybody, and we're all taking the necessary precautions and being safe and social distance and taking it seriously, then I'm cool. But if we're not doing that, then I'm not for it. I'm with it for sure.
And are you concerned about the rising number of cases in Orlando specifically?
Yeah, like I'm definitely curious to see like how the league and how the PA, how we handle this moving forward. Because we do watch the news, we have that access, so we see the rises, and then we see guys on different teams, different sports coming out with, now they're being diagnosed with COVID. So it's a little scary, but we take it a day at a time. We can only control what we can control, and that's our day to day in here. But we definitely, you have to be cognizant of what's going on in the world, and in Florida being our destination, it's probably the new epicenter for COVID right now. So I'm definitely curious to see how we respond moving forward. Yeah.
Thank you.
Kerry?
Hey, Bradley, Kerry Chow with NBC4. How you doing? Thank you for doing this. You kind of alluded to this before, but I'm curious, what are your thoughts on if resuming basketball will take away from the movement for racial justice, for social justice?
It's tough. I'm not. It's a tough one because you look at it from our years of history. Like, this isn't, the social justice issues and injustices that we see today happened 4 or 5 years ago too. They happened last year. They happened 3 years ago. They happened 10, 20 years ago too. And at the same time, we were playing basketball. And I feel like we stopped playing basketball because of COVID. We didn't stop playing because of social justice, And I feel like we can still raise that awareness. We can still bring attention to what's going on in the world by using our platform, by utilizing like names on the back of their jerseys. Like, do it until people get pissed off and get tired of seeing it. That's the message in which I think we're trying to get and push. Because that's the only real change that we're going to be able to generate. We can speak, like, statements are great. We can speak out. But if we're not actively doing things, if we're not actively getting involved, showing our faces, having these meetings with these local officials, these lawmakers, these politicians, and everybody who makes these decisions, then we're kind of chasing our tails in a way, But we have to utilize our platform as athletes to speak out for those who are unheard. To be vocal, to show face, to be involved, and I think we're able to do both. But I get it from both sides of those who think it's a distraction. I don't think it is, but I can see how it's portrayed that way during this time for sure.
Jeff Zilgett.
Hey, Brad, thanks for taking a couple minutes to do this today. I know you addressed a little bit about what you think life will be like inside the bubble. This is sort of a mental wellness question. When you look at players being used to doing things they want to on the road, how big of an adjustment is it? Do you think players are going to get tired of it quickly? I know you signed up to hoop, but teams that end up being there 2-3 months.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Listen. It's not a walk in the park, and I think that's where a lot of guys are concerned about, is that we can't just leave. We can't just order whatever food we want. We can't just do activities in which we want to do. We can't go to our teammates' room. Like, there's a lot of shit that we can't do. And so it's tough, because I get you from a mental awareness, standpoint of, you're so used to doing this, that, and the third on the road, and now you're constrained, you're restricted. You can't do the things that you're normally used to doing. That's just like having access to the gym at night. Like, a lot of guys love to go after games or go after practice, go in at night and shoot for hours if they want to. Can we still have that access? I don't know. They say we can, but I don't, that's not for sure. So I get it. Like, I think it is definitely a concern. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of, therapists down there for us and programs to help us with that. They're trying to keep it as freelancing as possible, but it will be tough, because you're asking people to basically stay in their rooms and play basketball. So it's kind of treating it like almost like a camp back in high school back in the day. Like, yeah.
Thank you, Brad.
Yep.
Ben.
Hey, what's up, Brad? Good to see you in your Florida gear. A basketball question for you. You said that obviously, guys have not been able to play 5-on-5 or anything, so people are going to be coming into this differently. But from a time standpoint, you would have had essentially a full off season at this point. So from a basketball standpoint, what have you been kind of working on, or the things you were specifically focusing on during this time?
Man, just really just picking up where I left off last season. Like, I didn't really like stop and look at it as an off season. Like, granted, it felt like one, but I didn't look at it that way. The season was going to resume at one point. It was just a matter of when. So it was just more or less just tweaking. I was loving how I was playing at the end of the year, and so it was just more or less just getting back into that routine and just sharpening up some things off the dribble, shooting off the dribble, and just trying to perfect it a little bit more. But for me, I was loving my game this year and how I was playing towards the end of the year. So it was just tightening it up a little bit more.
And for a quick follow-up, decidedly not about basketball. Obviously, with COVID in particular, it's been a massive adjustment for everybody. And I'm just curious for you, how have you been processing this? Did you feel any specific way you've changed, evolved, thought differently, whatever it is, by going through this, unprecedented experience?
For one, I'm more appreciative of my wife and my kids because I respect her and having to deal with those two knuckleheads all day. And to see babies grow is amazing, but damn, it's a lot of work. So being a dad and being at home every single day, like, it's a blessing and it's an honor, because I get time with them that I don't get during the year. You know, we're always on the road. We're always gone. And, you know, at most, we may have a week at home, you know, until the summer. But, you know, so I got that opportunity damn near 3 to 4 months, you know, to spend with them every single day. So that's what I took the most out of it, just being appreciative of, you know, the opportunity you had to be with your family, you know, and just really and it gave me a time to rest. That's what I look at it as. It gave me a time to rest my body, and it gave me a time to really spend time with my family.
Thanks.
Kellen?
Hey, Brad. Thanks for doing this. If you don't mind, I just wanted to see if you could clarify something from you spoke to the media before, like the Juneteenth march, and you mentioned like this really powerful moment, or this, you know, this where you were stopped by the cops on 495, and he said something to you along the lines of, you know, what did he say exactly? Do you mind just kind of going over exactly what he said?
So I was pulled over, and it was an unlawful search. He said my tent was too dark, and so I guess they gave him reason to search the car. And so I was being respectful. We stepped out of the car, my wife and I and my one of my friends at the time. We all stepped out of the car. We sat on the side of the highway, the little median, whatever the cement block thing is that's on the side of the highway. So we were sitting on that, and I remember I never fully explained the story. I gave a shorter version, but I asked the officer, can I put my hood up? Because I'm literally standing on the highway. There's traffic, so there's people slowly driving by, just looking at like, okay, what's going on over there? Who's that? You know, so seeing that, like, I'm like, all right. I asked the officer, can I put my hood up? He said, for what? I said, I would just like to not be seen out in public. And so he goes on to say, well, who are you? What do you do? And I say, well, sir, you've seen my license, so I think I will hope you know that my name is Bradley Beal, but I play basketball for the Washington Wizards. And so, complete left turn. His next question was, well, how much money do you make a year? Well, okay. I didn't want to be a smart ass, but I was like, officer, I don't want to be smart, but I think I make more than you per year. And then he said, well, I can arrest your ass right now and fuck up your headline and have you on SportsCenter on Monday. And just all, for what? For what? You know? Because I had too dark of a tent, like that's a ticket and let me go. But instead it was get out the car, search us, sit on the side of the highway, search the car, find nothing, then proceed to say I will arrest you just to fuck up your Monday headline. Not arrest me because you found anything, not arrest me because I did something wrong, but arrest me just because you can. That's the shit we deal with in everyday life. I don't tell it because I'm not the only black person that's went through that. I'm not the only athlete that's been in that situation. And he let me go. I didn't go to jail for it. So.
Thanks, Brad. That was last year, right? You said that was last year?
No, that was a couple years ago.
A couple years ago, okay.
Yeah, that was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dan from LA Times.
Hey, Brad. Thanks for sharing that story. I'm curious in a basketball sense. How important do you think the previous 60 games this season are going to be to any outcomes in Orlando? Will any of that stuff matter, or is this its own total organism down there?
I mean, from the standpoint of seeding and playoffs, yeah, it'll matter. But it's kind of, no, I think I get what you're saying in a way. No, it won't matter. You know, it's kind of like a whole new ball game. It's almost like anybody can win. I think that's why a lot of people are like, it's got to be an asterisk next to whoever wins. But I think it just makes it that much tougher. I think it makes it an even playing field in a way. You know, it gets guys back healthy, you know, for teams who didn't have that during the year. And it gives guys time to really rest and get ready to just jump back into it. You know, like I said before, it's an even playing field. Like if you were hot during the year, hell, I might be cold if I come back. You know, who knows? So it's just kind of one of those things. Like, you know, it's an even playing field now. It's like you'll distinguish the hoopers from, I guess, the non-hoopers. I guess, who really wants it or not.
All right. Thank you, Brad. We are out of time here today. If we did not get to your question, I apologize, but need to get Brad out of here by 2:00. So, Brad, thank you for your time. As everybody knows, we'll have Thomas Bryant at around 3:00 this afternoon.